Good morning, KMA Tribe. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're ready to make it a great one. Today, I want to talk to you about three things. The first is WIN, the acronym WIN that we teach here at Krav Maga Martial Arts in our Black Belt Leadership Program. And WIN stands for What's Important Next and What's Important Now. And I'm going to be teaching this lesson actually from the floor all this week. And because wherever a student is in the law of the process, wherever they are in the process that's going to turn them into a confident, competent, awesome black belt leader, there's a what's important next. And anytime we have a what's important next, and the what's important next, of course, is the goal or developmental or project milestone that is moving us in the direction of our chief and dominant goals, right? And who we want to be, how we want to be, what we want to accomplish. But there's that next step that we need to take. Once we know what the next step is, then the next piece is what's important now. And what's important now is the massive action that it'll take to get to what's important next. The second thing I wanted to talk to you about was state management. I actually spent the weekend doing Unleash the Power Within with Tony Robbins, and it's awesome. And a lot of the stuff, though, is stuff that we already teach and do. And one of the things that Tony's famous for is state management. And he was talking about how our physiology so much determines our psychology, that we can actually affect the way we feel by the things that we do. And it made me think immediately about our student creed, for example, the way we do it in a very animated fashion. I will develop myself in a positive manner and avoid anything that could reduce my mental growth or physical health, right? I would develop myself this way. We got to do this. And it's all the big movements. And it's because they're power moves, right? It's the physiology that gets you in the right state to have a good class. If you're playing aloud, right? Like, of course, somebody can sit there and choose not to participate and not get in state. And there's so many ways in state management. I was thinking about one of the lessons that I've taught for a long, long time. And when I first created this one, it didn't dawn on me that what it is state management. And I'm using the term state management now to denote and connote the ability we have to choose how we're going to show up in the world, how we're going to feel, to control our emotions, and then make sure that we are acting as thermostats rather than thermometers, not reporting what's going on around us, but creating what's happening around us. And one of the ways we do this is through state management. So there's this principle that I teach called cinching the belt. And first I taught it only to instructors. When I first created it, this was probably 16 years ago, I think. It came from a discussion of, look, when you come into the dojo and you cinch that black belt, you step onto the floor 10 foot tall and bulletproof, because it doesn't matter what happened before that time. You got to teach this class like it's the most important class you'll ever teach, because for the people in that class, it is. And of course, the relevance, the reason I'm sharing that with you today is because that principle, that version of state management, is something that we can do to ourselves at any moment in our life, whatever we're going through. Whatever are the external circumstances, we can determine our state and our emotional outlook on the circumstances. And if you have actually created a symbol, like I did with the idea of cinching the belt. See, a black belt is somebody super powerful, somebody that can affect the things instead of letting the things affect he or she. So when I use the symbol and the state, the physiological movement of cinching the belt, the idea is, this is who I am now. I'm going into this new, more powerful identity, and those negative and disempowering emotions that may have occurred, those get left behind. Well, maybe it's a different symbol for you. If you're not in the martial arts yet, if you're not a black belt yet, maybe it's a different symbol, but you need that thing that you can snap to change your state, right? Because the state that we're in is so important. It's not just the obvious that energy flows where focus goes and we get more of what we focus on. So if we're positive and having positive thoughts, we're moving in a positive direction. If we're negative and having negative thoughts, we're moving in that direction. If we are worrying and complaining about all the things happening to us, we create a prophecy in which those things will continue to happen to us. But it's also a physiological reason. And the physiological reason is that our body is a chemical production plant. And when you are having worrying and disempowering thoughts, your body's creating cortisol, the stress hormone, which not only makes you feel crummy, but it'll kill you. And And when, on the other hand, you're having positive and empowering thoughts, and by the way, the kind of energy and emotion that we create in our classes at Krav Maga Martial Art, that is healthy for you because you're producing endorphins and the other empowering hormones, drugs that you're pumping into your bloodstream. And then the third thing I want to talk to you about today, I know I've fit three major ideas in a short time here today. But the third one, the reason I wanted to do it is because I voted today, and hopefully you did too. And I teach here a principle called Circle of Concern and Circle of Control. I'm pretty sure I got this one from Dr. Stephen Covey. I think in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, but in one of his works. And the Circle of Concern and Circle of Control says this. It says there is a circle of concern, which are all the things in the world that I care about. And there's a circle of control, which are all the things in my world that I can do something about. And in that Venn diagram, in the intersection of those two circles, is the place where I should invest my time and energy. Because I'm not being very effective in either of the others unless I both care about the outcome and I can do something about it. That's what this is. The truth is, whining, complaining, and posting all over Facebook all of our sentiments about whichever side we're on in this thing or about any of the people, it serves absolutely no purpose. And as it relates to the last lesson, you get yourself in a state of negativity where you're creating bad things in your own life, which is the part we can control. What we can control in the political climate is to make sure we go and do this thing. So if you haven't yet, make sure and get out there and vote. And if you haven't yet, get to class this week. It's going to be a good one.